Okay, with the master cylinder out of the way, I can see the steering coupler. A lot of people call it a rag joint because there's a fiber piece in between it. But before we do that, so that I don't forget, and I'm probably going to save that for tomorrow because it's getting kind of late, but we need to disconnect vacuum lines from the brake booster, and then also the headlight vacuum system. So the first thing we're going to try to do is loosen that clamp. Hopefully this will come off easily. Okay, and then, I don't know whether you can see it here, but there's vacuum lines that go to the headlight system. And there's a check valve here. I'm just going to disconnect it from the check valve. And I will bring the camera over and show you what I did. Because the next thing I'm going to do is disconnect the throttle and transmission linkage to the carburetor. Next thing I'm going to do is disconnect the throttle cable. There's a little clip here on the linkage. Be nice if I put it in the frame, huh? There's a little clip right here that you pull out on the outer part of it, and then you slip it back. It slips onto the linkage there. The linkage goes through the bigger part of the hole, and then you, come on, focus camera. The linkage goes through the bigger part of the hole, and you slide it over, and this clip on the top puts pressure on it so that it doesn't come off. Once that clips off, you just slip the cable off. I'm going to do as usual, put my clip back on so I don't lose it. And then I'll try to squeeze those tabs right there in and push the cable back. Make sure I'm in the frame again. Push the tabs in, push the cable back. Once you get it back part way, there is a slot that the thin part of the cable will come through. So now that is one of the pieces that you've got to be careful when you're actually removing the body from the frame, because there's not really a good way to push that out of the way, and it has a possibility of getting caught on the engine and ripping it out. So you don't want to be doing that. And now the kickdown cable for the transmission is back here. Simply pull it all the way forward and it comes off of the head because there's a bigger hole in the slot at the rear. So those two things are done. I guess I'm going to call it a day. So the difference with the kickdown cable and the throttle cable is the kickdown cable doesn't have a slot in the bracket to pull it back or pull it to the side. You've got to pull it all the way back and get it out of that bracket so that it doesn't get hung up when you're pulling the body off of the chassis. Okay, it's getting late and I'm getting tired apparently because I just went through a whole talk about how this cable was attached inside that little clip there. And the cable is rigid enough, I can't pull it all the way out even though that's disconnected. So I'm going to have to be very careful as I separate the body from the chassis to make sure that that doesn't get hung up and ripped out.